streaming. All right, so we're streaming live now.
Okay. Bring my big drum. People, pay attention.
Pay attention.
Streaming. Oh, there's another one. I didn't bring my bigger drum.
Good morning all, my name is Wendell Daniel and welcome to StreetMic. And today we are coming to you live and direct from outside of the Royal Courts of Justice in the Strand in Holborn, where a case will be taking place today where a young lady who claims to have been falsely imprisoned, she was put in a detention centre, I believe, but she will give you more information. And cut a long story short, they were placed in a detention centre and they have now been released, and now they're claiming over £1 million from the Home Office. And in a few moments they will be making their way to a case management discussion with the Chief Justices here. And what I will be doing is interviewing one of the ladies before she goes in. So where's the lady? Where's she gone? Just gone to check. I mean, come round the front. Let me talk to you. So beat the drums, please. Step forward, go. Step forward a bit. Move back a bit. Move back. Let me get. Stay there. Move back. I want some sun. Go in the sun. That's it. Stay there. That's better. No. Stop. Whoops. Oh no, look, we're now streaming. So, good afternoon or good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Good morning. Name is Cole Grant, Campaign for Truth and Justice.
Tell me more about the Campaign for Truth and Justice and why you are outside of the Royal Courts today.
So, Campaign for Truth and Justice came about as a result of several violations of the rule of law by several public authorities, including the judiciary. However, today we are here to...
It's going to be too noisy. Put it round the back of me, it's going to be too noisy. Go on.
Okay, so today we are here on behalf of Sister Georgia, who is a prolific, prominent member of Campaign for Truth and Justice. She was wrongfully held in Immigration Detention Centre for 144 days, 6 months. So we've put in a claim for false imprisonment for £1 million. Initially they responded by saying that our claim was too unrealistically high. We responded by saying it was perfectly in line with the law, and then later they responded by putting £38,000 on the table, and again we told them to take that and find somewhere to put it.
Give me a bit more background information about the amount of time the young lady was imprisoned, falsely as you say, and why you believe it was a false imprisonment.
Well, as I said, she was held for 6 months in Immigration Detention Centre, awaiting to be deported. But she had told them she's lawfully here, she's a citizen here, etc., and was entitled to be here. But they thought she was, leading them or not being truthful. And upon 6 months later, they discovered that she is lawfully here. And so, naturally, effectively, by putting that offer on the table, they've accepted or acknowledged they're wrong. So now, today is about case management for the trial of that claim. I think we've still got time for them to come back to the table and settle before it eventually comes to court. But we are more than ready and prepared to take it to court.
How did you arrive at a figure of £1 million?
Okay, good question. The fact is that the law says that the financial penalty for false imprisonment is unlimited. So therefore, if you or I falsely imprisoned someone and was convicted of that, we could be subjected to an unlimited financial penalty. So because the state, no one is above the law, so the state is guilty of false imprisonment. Therefore, we could have gone for 10 million, 20 million, because unlimited is unlimited. However, we decided on £1 million, and it's fully justified.
What did your lawyers have to say about putting in a claim for £1 million?
Well, fortunately, we're representing ourselves. So it's something that the lawyers in our communities would not necessarily tell you. They would have said, look, that's a great offer. I would suggest you take it, and so on and so forth. They won't tell us our absolute rights. So, but we've studied the law. We're not claiming to know it all, but we studied the law, not only having knowledge of it, we've learned how to apply the law, and that's what we're doing.
How difficult has it for you to be a litigant in person, to bring a case, not just to a small claims court, but you are now at the Royal Courts of Justice? So how difficult has it been as a litigant in person?
The main barriers that we face as litigants in person is just from the corruption that goes on within. It's ironic that yesterday the investigation regarding Daniel Morgan, looking into the police, came out. We've now moved from an institutionally racist police force to an institutionally corrupt police force, and that is what we have. We have institutional corruption ongoing in these places, and it's only, as a result of that corruption, it's made it kind of an uphill struggle to get into these courts to secure our rights and justice.
But what do you mean by corruption, and how do you justify the use of that word corruption for the criminal justice system here? Because at the end of the day, you are trying to convince that same system that you say is corrupt. So how have you arrived at the word corruption for the system here? And I'm being devil's advocate, by the way.
That's perfectly fine, and it's a relevant question. The fact is, because we have documented evidence of judges deliberately and knowingly breaking the law, and because there is no sunlight, no publicity on what they're doing, I've given them two quotes, and if you don't mind, Lord Denning, who was a former master of the rolls in these courts, he warned the authorities. He said, whoever may be guilty of abuse of power, be it the government, the state, employer, trade union, or whoever, the law must provide a speedy remedy, otherwise the victims may find a remedy of their own. Another judge, a U.S. Supreme Court judge, Justice Brandeis, said, in a government of laws, existence of the government will be imperiled if it fails to observe the laws scrupulously. Government is the omnipresent teacher. For good or ill, it teaches the whole people by its example. If the government becomes a lawbreaker, it breeds contempt for the law. It invites every man to become a law unto himself. It invites anarchy. And that is the situation that this state is confronted with. Because we have evidence, documented, factual, unequivocal, indefensible evidence of state law breaking, that is what has put us in such a powerful position, so that as Campaign for Truth and Justice stands, we're able to seize land, we're able to seize property, and this is ongoing. As a matter of fact, last week, 2 days, I was in this court over land which we've seized in Shepherd's Bush Green, and the council trying to regain possession of that land. They were there yesterday trying to enforce a writ of possession unlawfully granted in these courts, but we stood our ground, and they had to walk away after 12 hours and leave us there.
You said that the case in the Royal Courts of Justice today is about case management. What does that entail?
So basically all that's involved is determining how long the trial's going to be, who's going to be coming as witnesses, and what evidence is going to be put forward, and so on. So it's just procedure, to determine how long they'll need for the trial.
In closing, I've sent out a link today saying that the drums of justice are beating outside of the High Court. Where did you come up with that idea from the drums of justice beating? Where did that idea come from?
Do you know what? I'm going to say, although I'm quite familiar with the drums for some time, I have to mention Sister Sasha Johnson, whom I've been on the road with a few times campaigning and so on. It was being kind of engulfed with the drumming that's been taking place for sending healing powers towards her. And you know, there's some members who play these drums, like at least one sister, well, two is there at the moment, but the sister over there, she can make those drums talk. And I know, we've been out here with these drums before, and they find it really annoying, but it's really, really powerful and effective. And we want to send them a message that they cannot ignore. We're here for justice, and we want to be treated equally in the law for justice. We don't want it in theory. We want it in practice.
And don't forget that the beating of the drum is of the ancestors sending the message, just as we did for 7 days for Sasha in the hospital who got shot. Yeah. So this is not just to frighten them or to get to their brains, but it is a message from the ancestors. And anywhere, this is only two of us, but there's a big group that always follow Claude wherever he goes to give that support. Yeah?
My final question, you've mentioned Sasha Johnson, and as you know, I've been going down to I'll let the phone ring. As you know, I've been going down to the bandstand myself and filming and interviewing, but I don't want to go into conspiracy theories, and there is issues in regards to, there is a criminal case going on at the moment, so I'm not discussing that. So what I do ask you, what can you say about the campaign, the drumming and the prayers that are going on a daily basis down at Denmark Hill in Ruskin Park? So what can you tell me about that? But we're not going into sub-judice issues about the rights or wrongs of a case.
No, all I can say is that since that's been taking place, it's just been absolutely beautiful and uplifting, and I'm sure that those healing that we've been sending towards Sister Sasha is going, and we're just kind of looking forward to hearing that she's improving and recovering, and that her recovery will be quite substantial. Yeah, so that's basically what we're.
But thank you very much, and here's some more drums just arriving. And so if I can hear those drums beating for justice outside of the Royal Courts of Justice. So for all of you watching, my name is Wendell Daniel and welcome to StreetMic. And we are coming to you live and direct from outside of the Royal Courts of Justice. And Carl is now making his way into the Royal Courts. So the drums can now beat outside of the Royal Courts of Justice. So for all of you watching, my name is Wendell Daniel and welcome to StreetMic. And we are coming to you live and direct from outside of the Royal Courts of Justice in the Strand, where a case involving £1 million compensation is now being heard, and the drums of justice are playing outside of the court. And let's listen as the drum beats. don't forget, if you like StreetMic, give me the thumbs up. Make your comments down below, share and follow. So if you like StreetMic, give me the thumbs up. Make your comments down below, share and follow, because what we do best, we go onto the streets of London, we meet interesting people, and we have an engaging conversation with them about any topic. And don't forget, we've got a new YouTube channel called StreetMic Live Stream. This is currently being live streamed on that channel. And if you want to watch StreetMic when it goes live, you must switch on your notification bell. So please remember, even if you follow us on Facebook, where thousands of you do, you need to switch on your notification bell so that every time we go live, you will be informed. So switch on your notification bell so that every time StreetMic goes live, you will be informed. And as you can see, we are currently outside of the Royal Courts of Justice, the second highest court in the land, where a case for a lady who was falsely imprisoned, she is claiming £1 million compensation, and the Home Office has already made an offer of £38,000, and that has been rejected. So today, it's about case management and managing that case to when it goes to trial, it will be agreed the dates, the witnesses, the statements that will be exchanged, all of the times, and it's going to cost a lot of money in legal fees. But the great thing is that the case is being done by a litigant in person. So the case is being argued and represented by a litigant in person from the Campaign for Truth and Justice. And we're currently outside of the Royal Courts of Justice. We are live streaming. And if this stream does fade out, it will only do so for a few moments, but that is beyond my control because I rely on 4 mobile phone networks sending this signal to you wherever you're watching. But we are currently live streaming, and quite often it cuts out, so I'm just letting you know. But at the moment, I'm getting a nice strong signal, and I hope it continues. And these are the same drummers who attend Ruskin Park, the bandstands. They beat the drums and they say prayers for Sasha Johnson, the BLM leader who was shot in the head on the 23rd of May in Concert Road in Peckham. And she's currently in St Thomas's Hospital recovering, but she's on a ventilator. She is seriously ill. And those of you who have been following the work StreetMic has been doing, if you go onto Facebook, you will see in my last upload that all of the videos I've done with Sasha Johnson has been uploaded, and they are available They're in the links to all of my last videos. I will also upload them to this. But if you want to see those videos, go to Facebook. You can also go to YouTube and our new YouTube channel, StreetMic live stream. I've only got something like 41 subscribers at the moment. We've only been going for a couple of days, but I'm confident in the future that will increase. Here's one young lady just coming out of the royal courts now. Come. You've just come from the royal courts. Stay there, stay there. You've just come from the courts. What did you find out?
Nothing. The clerk have disappeared and they don't know anything at the desk. So we couldn't find which court that they're trying their sister in.
So you haven't been able to find out any information, but
They're not there. They've disappeared.
they're hiding. So let me carry out a few interviews. Don't you run for me, Auntie. Step forward. Step forward. This is a once in a... So good afternoon, Auntie. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
No need to lean forward, but tell StreetMic how things have been for you following this case.
I would say it's amazing, really, because we always think that we haven't got any power, but I'm going to go inside, so I'll speak to you on the way back. So
Yes, I can see your colleagues are calling for you. No problem. So, hold on, before you go in, say, give me a big up StreetMic. Step forward before you go in. You got to do it. Come here, I can't hear you. Come forward, man. This is all good publicity.
big up StreetMic.
And you want me as well. All right. Big up StreetMic every time, and thank you for coming down to support. Always appreciate you.
Thank you. So, they're all going into the Royal Courts of Justice now to find out what is happening. Because even though it's a case management discussion, the court system is an open justice system, so therefore witnesses, observers, I beg your pardon, can come along and observe exactly what is taking place. So as we can see, they're now going into the Royal Courts of Justice. There is the evidence that we're outside of the Royal Courts of Justice. So there's the sign for the Royal Courts, and there the drums. So what is now happening is that certain people are making objections to the noise. So all we can do is watch and observe and report. Stay there, come. So, good afternoon, what's your name?
My name's Nina. I'm staying at the Love Down camp in Shepherd's Bush.
No, just be normal. Don't need to lean forward. Just be normal, yeah. So tell me more about the discussion you just had outside of the court just now.
Okay, so basically, it seems like two judges. They say they came out and said that they were in there doing a hearing about police misconduct, and would we be quiet because they couldn't hear? And I said, with all due respect, we're not going to be quiet because we're here protesting against you and what you're doing in here. So I said, I suggest you go to another room. And she got pretty angry. And she said, don't you understand we're here doing our work? I said, I do understand. Don't you understand we're here doing our work? And we ain't going nowhere. I said, I suggest you go to another room. And she got upset. So I just said, just go. Get your negative energy. Go back into your satanic building. Leave us alone. You can chase these people away.
So tell me more about why it was important for you to be down here today.
So we've come down from the Love Down camp in Shepherd's Bush. We're basically a permanent version of the protest. We've gone from 20 people last year to 1 million in our last protest, and we're growing and growing. We've done a permanent protest, and why it was important for us to be down here is because we've got our brother Paul Grant, who is...
If you move back a bit, that's it.
We've got our brother Paul Grant down here who is representing, and he's representing a woman that does the finances for his organisation. So we're here to show our support. We're here to show our support for them, but also to show our support for this movement. You know, we're growing and growing, and we'd like a lot of support in Shepherd's Bush as well. We're making a permanent protest of this. It's the first settlement. We've had our teething troubles, but we're learning and we're growing, and it's a beautiful thing. We want to come down here to support our brothers and sisters. That's what it is.
But tell me more about the Love Down in Shepherd's Bush, and what are its aims and objectives?
Okay, so as I said, we've been protesting the lockdowns and the restrictions since last year. Many of us have been protesting for many years. This tyranny that's coming on us has been a long time coming, and a lot of us have known about it. So basically, we've been protesting and growing, but obviously laws, restrictions are still coming on. So we need to say, you know what, we're not going home. We ain't going home, we're staying here. We ain't coming back in 2 weeks, we're staying here. We're going to show you how we can do this, how we can build humanity back again, get a second chance. You don't need the government. They're not your parents. They don't look after you. You pay them to put you in tyranny. And we're there to make a stand and say that and have a place where people can come, and it's about loving and healing and about being natural. And by the way, no one's got COVID in lockdown.
Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you later on. Thanks a lot.
Showing that we are about to take over lands and properties in this country according to our rights under our ancestors' blood. That's on the street. There are 99% of state buildings built by our slave ancestors, and many of those owners are dead, and yet we have not claimed those states. They're all museums around the country. We need to be stepping up. We need to be this. We have the right now to disconnect the 5G poles, as we told. We have the right to take over land, as it is not just here in England. We're focused on England, but in the Caribbean, all Africa, everywhere, and all this, and bring all these governments to genocide against not just vaccine, but about all the things they've done us wrong for years in accepting money from Duke and from Bill Gates and any one of them. So we are on the move worldwide, not just here. We are internationally linked.
Thank you very much.
I'll say one thing. Just one of the Queen's estates, just one, is bigger than all of the parks in London. It's about time we get a bit of land too. It's about time we claim something back too. People need to watch what we're doing, see how we've done it in one of the most dangerous areas in London, see how we've made our own security. We've got the police out peacefully. We've made the area peaceful. We've made the crime go down. But learn how we've salvaged material, built ourselves up. Learn from us and go and do it in your own commons. Not even in commons, this is a protest. Claim back the land. It belongs to us too. The Queen, the Crown owns pretty much everything, and it's about time we start grabbing some back. So, come and join us.
Thank you very much. For all of you who are watching, my name is Wendell Daniel, and welcome to StreetMic. And we are coming to you live and direct from outside of the Royal Courts of Justice in the Strand, where the drummers for peace, the drummers for justice, are out here supporting the campaign for truth and justice, who are in the court buildings. They should be in there with lawyers and judges, and they will be arguing and agreeing about a case which will be heard involving an application for £1 million compensation after it was claimed a lady was falsely in prison in a detention centre by the Home Office. So a claim of £1 million has been put in. An offer of $38,000 in final settlement has been refused. So today is about that case being managed by the justices, and agreements will be made on ways forward. So we will be hearing more soon about what is going on in the building. But in the meantime, if you like what you're seeing, if you like what you're hearing, my name is Wendell Daniel, and welcome to StreetMic. And we are coming to you live and direct from the streets of London. And only a few days ago, we were outside of number 10 Downing Street, with tens of thousands of people. We'll be back there again next week. And today, we're in a different location at the Royal Courts of Justice. And if you like what you're seeing, give me the thumbs up. Make your comments down below. Share and follow. So if you like what you're seeing, give me the thumbs up. Make your comments down below. Share and follow. Because what we do best, we go onto the streets of London and we engage with ordinary people.
Our time is now. and they are Jewish. They are not. Taking the land that don't belong to them. They come from the Kazakh hills of Russia. We want it back. We want Israel. Africa. They're chasing all us out of Africa, out of Israel. And protest. Ethiopia. They're taking away their rights. Love, peace,
Excuse me, sis, are you ready to give StreetMic an interview now you've finished playing? So step forward. How are you feeling now you've been beating those drums for about 20 good minutes? How's it feel?
Energetic and liberating. We are here for Carl. We are here to support him. This has been going on long enough and it needs to come to a close and they need to do the right thing.
We can discuss the case involving Carl when he comes out, but what I'm interested in is the drums. When you play if you move around, I just get out the shadows. So come forward, that's it, step forward, step forward, step forward. I've no doubt soon someone's going to come and make up noise, but we'll deal with that when it arrives. But what does it take to play the drum? Because you're not following no formal anything. How does it work?
Well, it works by the spirit of our ancestors. That's where it works from.
But what does that mean to my viewers? So what do you mean by the spirit? Is that in a Bacardi bottle or something, or Ray and Nephew? What's the spirit?
No, it's a link to our ancestors in Africa where we all originated from. It's a connection to us as African people. This is how we talk, this is how we used to talk, and now we're actually coming back to how we're talking now to each other. And this, the drumming, is going to bring us closer and closer together to unity, to knowing what we want, and to repatriation, if need be. You know, this is it. The drum. It talks to us. And what we are thinking and feeling inside, this is what's coming out when we beat it. You know, it's talking for us in everything that we say and do.
So when you beat the drums, the ancestors are talking to you. I see Clive behind you. When he's drumming, he's closing his eyes. What do you think he thinks about as he drums? But I don't want him to tell me. I want you to tell me when he's closing his eyes and he's there beating, because you do the same. What are you thinking about?
We are actually meditating. We're concentrating and we're meditating because we're not here. We've gone higher than high. Okay? We are connection to the earth, to the trees, to the sun, to the light. We have gone higher than high. That is why we close our eyes and we are in actually meditation. Yeah? So it's a connection.
And are you expecting a lot of people as the day progresses? We hope for more people to join us. You know, we can only hope for more people to join us. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you very much. So there's a young lady there. She's been there beating the drums all afternoon, all morning, and she's explaining when the drums are beat, what goes through her mind, who she's thinking about. She spoke about the ancestors and what the inspiration and motivation and encouragement they are giving her. But for me, StreetMic, it is great to be on the streets of London, recording this event and live streaming this event so you can watch. And it is different to what I've been doing for the last few days. Those of you who saw me on Monday would have seen outside of number 10 Downing Street with the Judgment Day protest, with thousands of people down there, with Piers Corbyn, with MAD, Mixed Conspiracies, and many hundreds of other people who were down there. And for the other few weeks we've been down Peckham and down at King's College Hospital, where Sasha Johnson is recovering after being shot in the head. And on Sunday, Clive and myself went down to Concert Road in Peckham, number 37. Can't say the number, but I did. We went down to Peckham and Concert Road, where Sasha was shot, calling, appealing for witnesses, anyone who has information. They may have CCTV, they may have video recordings, they may have something that is useful for the police. And if you do, you can contact the police in confidence on Crime Stoppers 0800 111 555 or 555 111, one of those numbers. So 0800 555 111 Crime Stoppers. Call them if you have any information that you would like to give to the police in confidence that would assist in the investigation into the horrific crime that saw Sasha Johnson being shot in the head, and the two persons who have been arrested and charged with conspiracy to murder will be appearing in court on the 25th of June. So they will be appearing at the Central Criminal Courts via video link, probably they're in Belmarsh, and then we will hear more about the evidence. So I'm now going to move out the way as the London Ambulance Service exits the courts down here. So the ambulance service work hall to the courts, and we on StreetMic like to be respectful, and we will not be showing the ambulance bringing people out or in. It's important to do things the right way. But what we are doing, we are coming to you live and direct from the streets of London, where the campaign for truth and justice are at a case management discussion at the Royal Courts of Justice in a case that involves £1 million in compensation, and already £38,000 in compensation has been offered, and that has been rejected. This live stream is currently simulcasting, that's a hard word to say, on Facebook, Vimeo, and YouTube. So we're currently live and direct on Facebook, Vimeo, and YouTube. And I don't think I've lost the stream yet. Normally I do by now. But if you like what you're seeing, give me the thumbs up. Make your comments down below. Share and follow. So if you like what you're seeing, give me the thumbs up. Make your comments down below. Share and follow. And just because we've got thousands of followers on Facebook, it doesn't mean that when we go live, you will be automatically informed. But what you must do is switch on your notification bell so that every time StreetMic goes live, you will be informed. So you can find us also on our new YouTube channel, I'll say that again. You can find us on our new YouTube channel, which is StreetMic Livestream. We only started a few days ago, so we ain't got many subscribers. We're looking for 100 by the end of next week. So subscribe to subscribe to YouTube, and it's StreetMic Livestream on YouTube. So subscribe on YouTube.
Lovely fingers. Good circulation there now. And be careful now. You got plenty.
The drummers have now stopped for a few moments, and for those of you who have just joined, we're currently outside of the Royal Courts of Justice here in the Strand, and a case management discussion is currently taking place about a claim for compensation of £1 million for the false imprisonment of a lady who was falsely imprisoned for 6 months, and the Home Officer has already made an offer of £38,000, and that has been rejected by Carl Grant, and he's here fighting as litigant in person to win compensation for the lady, and he's currently in chambers with a judge and Home Office lawyers as they discuss the next steps in this case. And the next steps includes the dates of the trial, the number of days the trial will take, the number of witnesses, the documents that need to be disclosed and when. So that is what is currently taking place, that legal process. And StreetMic has knowledge of these processes because I've studied my LLB in law, so I know these processes. And Carl said the most interesting part will be disclosure of documents. But the drummers for justice are in front of the High Court, the Courts of Justice here in London, beating the drums. What a name, Drums of Justice. And already we've had one of the court officials asking the drummers to be silent. They refuse because they're protesting on a public path and they're not on Crown land. They're on a footpath. Don't forget, if you like what you're seeing and hearing, give me the thumbs up, make your comments down below, share and follow. So give me the thumbs up, make your comments down below, share and follow, because this is what we do best. We go onto the streets of London, we meet interesting people, and we have an engaging conversation with them about any topic. Don't forget, we got our YouTube channel, our new YouTube channel, StreetMic live stream. So you've got to subscribe and switch on your notification bell so that every time StreetMic goes live, you will be informed. So switch on your notification bell so that every time StreetMic goes live, you will be informed. So what's your name, sir?
My name is Elder Raja.
So what you doing down here today?
Well, April the 1st, I put in a personal injury claim against London Underground.
I'm going to stop there. Can't continue with this.
We can go.
No, stop.
What's the judge though?
No, I work for London Underground. That's my proper job. I'm not interested. Sorry. No, sir. Sir, no. I can't do certain things. No, I cannot do certain things. That is one of them. That was a gentleman just now who wanted me to do something which I refused to do. Certain things StreetMic cannot do, and that is one of them. So we're currently in front of the Royal Court of Justice. And we are covering the drums of justice. So we're covering the drums of justice. So they're now coming out. So they're now coming out of the court. So they're now coming out. Let's hear. They're not there. Come. With the court of justice side in the background. Pardon. I'll deal with you in a minute. All right. Where she goes? So we're now going to have a statement from the litigant in person after he has exited from the Royal Courts of Justice doing a case management discussion. Here he is. So that's Carl. He's just exited from the Courts of Justice after. This is the guy who bought the case. That's Carl. He's going to make a statement in a few moments to update us about the case management discussion in the court. Yes, come. StreetMic wants to talk. So this is Wendell Daniel from StreetMic coming to you live and direct from outside of the Royal Courts of Justice with the drums of justice. And in a few moments we're going to be getting a statement from the person who has bought the case. So Wendell Daniel from StreetMic and the drums of justice are going. Carl, step forward and talk to StreetMic. You've now exited the Royal Courts of Justice after having a discussion. What was the outcome?
Well, you know what, before I say anything at all, I just want to say a huge, massive thank you to everyone that's turned up, but especially to the drummers who have come to beat the drums of justice, because we are here demanding justice. So, as I've made clear before...
Hold that. Make sure my volume is sweet. So I'm now going to turn it up. Yes, sir. Talk to StreetMic.
Okay, so as I made clear earlier on this morning, today was really about case management. So we have a case in which this beautiful sister has taken the Secretary of State for the Home Department to court, suing for false imprisonment for a period of 6 months, 144 days to be exact. We've put in a claim, as I said earlier on, for £1 million. We are now considering increasing that amount. So today was just about the case management of those proceedings. to decide how long the case or the trial is going to take. So it's agreed that it probably take place over a period of 4 days. It's preliminarily listed now for July next year. They were looking at December next year. We were trying for some time earlier, but they said because of the size of the claim, we couldn't go through the rapid process. We don't have a problem particularly with that. It's just that we would have wanted the matter to be brought to an end, a close, so that she can get on with her life. But ultimately, we knew that they were going to try to stretch it out as long as possible. So we've been given certain deadlines, both sides. I have to say that the person who conducted the proceedings today seemed to have done so in a very impartial and fair way.
Was it a judge?
Was a master, so he's they're
Top boy.
Yeah. Well,
I apologise. Top person.
yeah, no, not really. They're the lowest level of judges in these courts. But I'm not saying that in a detrimental. They're a master. Then you have a high court. You may have a district judge or a high court judge, etc. But yeah, so they just conducted preliminary proceedings.
But what are the issues over the next year that you have to resolve? For example, what type of documents have you requested that will have to be exchanged?
Okay, so basically, both sides have to give disclosure of their evidence, the evidence that they rely on. There's been certain dates set for those. I can't quote them, but they've set dates for both sides to provide their evidence, and including expert evidence and to counter the expert evidence and so on. So they've scheduled dates in which all those things must take place leading up to the eventual trial.
So as the litigant in person, explain to those watching and also myself, StreetMic, what does it take to be a litigant in person and to be able to bring all of those documents together, especially formal statements which have to follow a formal process?
I think the first thing as litigants in person that we rely on is the truth. And if our case is founded on the truth, then, documentation, evidence is only relevant, or documentation and such is only relevant as far as the truth is concerned. So they can produce, the other side can produce whatever documentation or whatever they want, but we focus on what we say is the truth involved in our case.
I can hear India 99 is probably overhead. That's the police helicopter. But moving on, if I could now ask the person herself, if you are willing to step forward and say a few words to StreetMic.
She has no trouble in front of the judges. I can fully assure you of that. She may be a bit camera shy, but she has no problem in court whatsoever. She's a beautiful witness. I want to say that she's a member of Campaign for Truth and Justice. If I can just touch on a few of the people that are here from the Love Down camp in Shepherd's Bush Green, whom she's the one who's responsible for all our drafting. Yesterday, when they were trying to remove us from that land, she was on the other end of the phone, emailing these documents that they were trying to get us to, and so on. So,
yeah, big up, big up, big up, big up, big up. Do you know something? I'm confident that when StreetMic interviews you, you will be yourself and you're going to give us. So tell me, first of all, what has the last year been like for you? Step forward a bit. I want a good sound.
I don't want to cry.
If you... go on. So just explain, what has the last year been like for you? In your own time, in your own words. Imagine I'm Lord Justice StreetMic, and I'm not giving away my prejudices or biases that I'm in support of you. So what do you have to say about the last year? And then I will cross-examine you under oath.
It's been hell, you know. It's been hell for us. You know, interrogation by the authorities, you know, abuse by the Home Office. It's just, it's terrible. You know, but one day I'm going to give my full story.
I'm now going to ask this lovely man who's holding your hands. What has it been like for you, husband of this beautiful young lady, to be down here? What has the last year been like for you, knowing what your wife has gone through?
It's like...
Hold the microphone with the other hand. With that hand, no. Carry on there. No, hold the wife with that one. That's it. Hold that one.
These whole thing is like, you know, like you're hell, like you're coming from hell. It's like you die, you know. So when I look into this situation where we've been through, you know, it's only the Almighty take we out and bring we this far and call. You know, if we give God thanks and we give God thanks we call. Because from the day we meet Miss Carl Grant, we see changes. You know, from the day we meet him, we see changes. And he was on the journey with us. Many people on the journey would have just run away from you. When the pressure takes you, they run away from you. But you know, me give thanks for Carl Grant and the support of all, not only Carl, you know, each and every one that here today, you know, because it wasn't easy. It's like sometimes you have to sleep in on one eye shut and one eye open. To the way these people, they oppress you. Them just oppress you. You know, they use it's like the court system as a blackmail and use it and blackmail you. You know, they send police to your house, bailiff to your house. Them do everything that's bad. But you know, you have to be strong. I'm telling you. Even when you look at things, the bug next door is like you're on the computer. It's like you know, they do everything that's bad. It's like a giant attack, them behind us. You know? But we just keep going on because we know that after a storm there will be a calm. You say the race is not for the swift, not the battle for the strong, you know, but for those who can endure. You know, so we have to fight. You know?
My final question, step forward. You're talking to Lord Justice, step back a bit. You're talking to Lord Justice StreetMic. I'm now going to decide the compensation to give you after finding the case proven. How much do you think is reasonable?
5 million. We're looking at about 5 million because after this hassle, you can't pay someone for all what you've done to them.
There you go.
You know, it's unlimited. You know what I mean? You know, the sky is the limit. And there's no limitation to where they put us through.
So I'm now ordering the Home Office to pay you £5 million for false imprisonment, and that is ordered. Thank you.
I receive it.
So, Carl, tell me more about the organisation you represent and the great work you're doing, and then I want you to tell me about you nicking some land.
Oh yeah, I'd love to tell you about that. Well, the work that we're involved in, Campaign for Truth and Justice.
Hold that and talk, but don't put it in your mouth. Just hold it normal.
Okay, so the work that we're involved in came about as a result of several violations of the law committed by the state, and we've taken our time to study the law and also understand the application of the law. And as a result, we've been able to use the violations that they've engaged in to our advantage. And so let me give an example. The Section 6.1 of the Human Rights Act makes it absolutely clear that it's unlawful for a public authority to act in any way which is made unlawful by the rights enshrined in law. In Section 7.1 of that same law, it makes it absolutely clear that a person who claims to be a victim of an unlawful act may rely on that unlawful act as a defense in any legal proceedings instigated against them by the state. And so therefore, as a result of our knowledge of that, we're able to utilize what's happened to us over a period of several years and turn it round and use it in these courts.
Are you telling me that you've used a law, a brilliant law, that's enacted to help us against the Home Office? Is that what you're telling me?
Against the Home Office or any other public authority. Now, I just want to read something from here, which is last week we were in these same courts over a period of 2 days with Hammersmith and Fulham Council taking us and the Love Down campaigners to court about repossessing the land which we seized. Now, in our seizure notice, we quote, in accordance with the Magna Carta 1215 and Clause 61 of the Magna Carta, in accordance with Clause 61 of the Magna Carta, and Article 7 of the Human Rights Act, we seize, this land has been lawfully seized by Campaign for Truth and Justice. Now, at court, the lawyer representing the council handed us a document which is said to be what the Magna Carta contains. And in that document, I think he was trying to contradict our argument. However, this is what that document reads. So this is a quote from the Magna Carta. If we, our Chief Justice, our officials, or any of our servants offend in any respect against any man or transgress any of the articles of the peace of this security, and the offence is made known to 4 of the said 25 barons, they shall come to us, or in our absence from the kingdom, to the Chief Justice to declare it and claim immediate redress. If we, or in our absence abroad, the Chief Justice make no redress within 40 days, reckoning from the day of which the offence was declared to us or him, the 4 barons shall refer the matter to the rest of the 25 barons, who may distrain upon and assail us in every way possible.
Can I come in there? I've studied law. I can sort of understand what that means, but for the average person, summarise for StreetMic, what are they talking about?
It is essential that I finish the quote. So, in a word, sorry, StreetMic. Right. So it says, who may distrain and assail. You see, Mr. StreetMic, with the support of the whole community
of the land
by seizing castles, lands, possessions, or anything else, only
our bodies, our own person,
and those of the Queen and our children, until they have secured such redress as they have determined upon. Having secured the redress, they may then resume their normal obedience to us. So that's what Clause 61 of the Magna Carta says. But those who argue that the Magna Carta was repealed 3 months after it was established, we're not arguing against that. But the very principles, or because the very principles of that still remains in UK law today, and it's used around in many jurisdictions. But fundamentally, in Article 7 of the Human Rights Act 1998, you will find that very said thing in modern day language, because it says, Article 7 says, no punishment without law. No lawbreaker can be a law enforcer. So it reestablishes, as did Clause 61 of the Magna Carta, that no one is above the law. Yeah. So and again, so that it can be used in exactly the same way. Section 7.1, as I've already said, makes it absolutely clear that anyone who claims to be a victim of an unlawful act, they may rely on it in any legal proceedings as a defence. As a defence, sorry, I'm getting all tongue-tied. Yes, instigated by a public authority. Yeah, sorry.
Thank you very much for that. And please explain to StreetMic, are you a lawyer or have you had to train and teach yourself by reading technical documents how to represent yourself as a litigant in person? Are you a lawyer or have you trained yourself to do what you're now doing?
Well, part of the unlawful act committed against myself is that I have spent several years of my life wrongfully locked up in prison, just like Sister Georgia, who spent, they had locked up for 144 days, and which is what this claim is about. I spent 6 years of my life unlawfully locked up in prison. And fortunately, during that time, I used that time to read the law. Now, let me just explain that in a bit more detail, because I was representing myself during the trial proceedings, and one day at court I complained that I didn't have sufficient access to the prison library, and they wouldn't allow me to take the law books back to my cell. However, I had a friend who was sending law books to me, but the prison authorities wouldn't allow me to have them because they're hardback, and they said that anything could be imported in them and so on and so forth. However, so this judge, in his arrogance, I'm sure, but trying to appear as if he wanted to be helpful, he ordered the prison authorities to give me access to my law books. So that evening when I was returned to prison, I was handed those books they had already received, and thereafter my friend just kept sending law books. So I ended up with a cell looking like a law library. And so in my time in prison, instead of me serving time, I made time serve me. So I stayed there.
Do you know something? That is an amazing story. And it is a proof that sometimes when you go inside, that time can be spent wisely, and you can educate yourself, and you can come out and you can help others like you are doing so today. And we thank you very much. And is there anyone else who would like to add before we close? Because it's been an amazing day today. And before you all go, I do need a photograph with everyone with the Royal Courts of Justice in the background for my thumbnail.
So we can spread the word. Is there a website? Is there a...
StreetMic. Big up StreetMic.
No, but for you guys, have you actually got a...
Yes, campaign.
What is it?
Campaign for Truth and Justice, and the address is ctj.
Right, yeah, I've got that.
ctj.org.uk. So ctj.org.uk. Thank you very much. Yeah.
I'm not going there. I'm not going there. I've told you already. I'm not going there.
Okay. All right.
No.
All right, my brother. All right, my brother.
Go on then.
Okay.
No TFL.
I didn't mention TFL, I mentioned Malcolm X.
Okay. All right.
So, really, your story, you should have an autobiography out very soon for the youth them, for sure the youth them how you went in and used the time so good, because time is the master. But your story sounds similar to me like Malcolm X. He went in as a bad man and come out and lead the people in America in the civil rights movement. Go on, my brethren.
Well, I didn't go in as a bad man, that's for sure. But
they said you was.
I went in through because I deliberately committed an act of civil disobedience because I was having such difficulty getting into these courts. They were slamming the doors in my face, whether it be the criminal doors or the civil doors. So I engaged in an act to deliberately get into court. The only thing that they were required to do was subject me to the due process of law. However, they failed. They violated that due process, and therefore, for instance, I give you an example. For the act which I was wrongfully convicted, I filed a notice of appeal, the application was dealt with on paper and rejected. It was then, I then renewed the application to come into court for an oral hearing. They refused me legal aid. They refused me my right to come and represent myself. So that denial of the right to be heard was a gross violation of the law. And and in fact, thereafter, I presented 4 applications seeking a writ of habeas corpus, and they denied those as well. So those were gross violations of the due process of law. And it's as a result of those violations which has put me in this powerful, and when I say powerful position, that we can go in these places, why we can go and seize the land. Sister Georgia's home is the first property we seized over 2 years ago. And she's been living there. When the bailiffs went to her home to try to evict her, they saw a notice on the door saying that this property has been seized in accordance. And we said in that notice, it says, anyone who attempts to enter without consent may be in grave danger. And so if there wasn't any legitimacy in that warning, it could be regarded as a threat. And so I'm sure when the court enforcement officers turned up, they called the police, but we're well known to the police, and they just didn't want to get involved. So, indeed, yes, this gentleman here, this brother here, he has a shop with 3 apartments above. They evicted him from his home and put up a court notice saying no re-entry and criminal damage and so on and so forth. He broke the bailiff's locks, called Campaign for Truth and Justice. We went and put up a seizure notice on his property. He went away to the Philippines for 8 months and came back, and he's still in his property today. Yeah, after regaining entry. So in fact, the fact that they've taken us to court over the seizure in Shepherd's Bush Green is only because it's high profile. All our other seizures they've ignored because they cannot fight against us legit. But they've taken us to court. Again, if we didn't have legitimacy in that seizure, they wouldn't have taken us to court. There would be no need for it. They would simply call the police to clear us off. But they've taken us to court, and what they've done, what the authorities have been trying to avoid over all these years, they've been trying to avoid having us in court. But Hammersmith and Fulham Council, in their, they've opened the doors for us. So although they claim to have gotten a repossession order for that land, we've filed an appeal against their order. Yesterday, they were there from 4 a.m. in the morning with their army of enforcement officers, with police officers in the background, just waiting there, apparently, according to them, to make sure no breach of the peace. So the police were powerless to do anything about the order, the so-called order of the court. However, they remained there for 12 hours, and thankfully, the campers held their ground. And 12 hours later, the enforcement officers left. And I think we were all a bit worried that they may have come back this morning. But here, some of them are here today, having had, hopefully, a peaceful night's sleep and a bit of reassurance that, you're on solid ground.
Don't forget, Judge Alfred Denning's ruling that anything obtained by fraud is null and void.
Okay,
yeah, so that order is still null and void.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Carl. It was brilliant. What I now want is a photograph, and beg your pardon. And what I now want is a photograph, and if I could have, where's the young lady gone? And the drummers. I want you all in the photograph. Thank you. If someone can hold this for us.
So
needed some refreshment for you.
Because I'm still streaming at the moment. Not now.
No, but listen two of my brethren died.
Go away.
Two of my brethren died last year. Let's continue. All the brethren that might die.
Sister Georgia, just for a photo shoot, please.
Photo shoot. If you go back, a bit. Go right back. Right. We're trying to keep the green light in line.
I thought you'd make everyone go behind the sign.
Okay.
We stand behind.
Oh, I can see. Yeah. Can you all go behind the sign, please? Being a bit negative. There is a tight place. So when people are dead, they're not here. How you do it with?
Yeah, because we're doing the sports day, innit?
I want to know about. But don't get in there. Look in the camera. Good. Look in the camera. Excuse me. No. Look in the lens. Look in the lens, please.
Look at the camera, look.
Camera.
We said cabbage. Justice. Campaign for justice. Richard. That's it. Come down to London.
Yeah, that's right. One come and show. One come and
All of you please come down.
Yeah, we're going to come down with the drum. We'll organise it. We're all down, man.
They started at 11 o'clock. They touched the people on the camp.
Come down before,
Are we there dancing?
To all of you who are watching, we will now be signing out from the High Court. So we're now going to be signing out from the Royal Courts of Justice, and we've been here since 11 o'clock. So the drums of justice has been beaten, and Wendell Daniel from StreetMic. And if you like what you're seeing, give me the thumbs up make your comments down below, share and follow. Give me a thumbs up, make your comments down below, share and follow. And also, you can find us on our new YouTube channel, StreetMic Livestream. If you like what you're seeing, you must switch on your notification bell. So switch on your notification bell and you will be informed each time StreetMic goes live. So we are now signing off and goodbye. What's happening? Oh, no.
I think you've interviewed